Do you like a good scare? Do you have a dark and disturbing imagination? Then you've come to the right place. Time Warp Studios proudly presents The Shiver Show. I am Mary Labrie, and I'm here with co-host Greg Flynn. Greg, we're about to listen to Doctor Grimshaw's Sanitorium. Are you ready?
I wonder if Grimshaw's Sanitorium is like a health spa. Lots of herbal tea and massages and everybody is calm. Or will it be padded cells and straitjackets? My experience from past programs on the Shiver Show is I'm not expecting any yoga, but I think there's going to be a lot of yelling.
Or screaming.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight's story, Doctor Grimshaw's Sanitorium. What you will hear in the next half hour represents either a magnificent hoax or the true explanation of the famous Grimshaw Sanitorium scandal which made the headlines back in 1947. The manuscript upon which this account is based was removed by the New York State Police from a fountain pen cover found in the doorway to Dr. Grimshaw's study. We offer this manuscript as evidence only. Whether it is authentic or not, you must judge for yourselves.
My name is John Doherty. I'm a graduate of Hamilton College, class of 34, a member of Theta Alpha. I'm one of those fools who wanted some excitement in life, so instead of going into my father's shoe business, I became a private detective. These are facts. You can check them if you like. The rest of what I write here is so fantastic that I don't expect it to be believed. If anyone should find this manuscript and read it, all I ask is that you notify Miss Millicent Armbruster of 299 Wallace Avenue, Buffalo, that Johnny Doherty is dead. On the evening of July 1st, Miss Armbruster and I were driving to a wedding. Not our own, although I wish it had been. It was Sunday, and in order to avoid traffic, I took the Old Mill Road, a single-lane dirt affair that runs past the Gowanda Cemetery.
Johnny, aren't you going too fast?
Not for this road. There isn't a thing around except some tombstones and...
Johnny, the gate to the cemetery.
Well, what about it?
That hearse, look out! Look out!
We skidded for about 20 feet and slammed into the back of the hearse. The two rear doors buckled and snapped open. It was a freak. A huge oak coffin with brass handles tipped up and began slowly to slide back toward us.
Oh, how horrible.
You stay right here, baby. You okay, Mac?
You don't pay much attention to speed limits, do you, Jack?
Now, look, let's not get hung up on who was right and who was wrong. I was going too fast and you were traveling without lights after dark.
Let's see your driver's license.
Right here.
Oh. Private eye, eh?
Now, if you don't mind, who does this joy wagon belong to?
Gowanda Funeral Service. It's being rented to Grimshaw.
Who?
Grimshaw from the private sanitarium.
Mind if I ask what you were doing after dark coming out of a cemetery with a wooden kimono?
We're moving one of Grimshaw's patients to a new grave.
They always travel like this?
Look, Hawkshaw, how about skipping the third degree and giving me a hand getting this box back in the wagon?
A pleasure. Better screw on that cover again. It's going to slide off.
Let's get it in the hearse first.
Okay, Junior. You get on that end.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah, lift.
Now, just slide it.
Oh, brother, who's in there, King Kong?
Look out for the cover.
I told you that would happen. What's the guy's name, Junior?
Oh, why don't you ask him, Sherlock Holmes?
A real wise guy, huh? I've got half a mind to report this accident.
Yeah, well, go ahead. See where it gets you. Now, if you'll pardon me, I'll deliver the body.
Everything all right, Johnny?
I thought so until a few seconds ago. Listen, Millie, can you sit here in the car for another 5 minutes?
Where are you going?
For a stroll through the cemetery.
Oh, Johnny, stop making jokes.
When we lifted that coffin back on the meat wagon, I got a good look inside it.
Ugh.
Yeah, exactly how I felt. I figured we'd knock the stuffing out of the corpse, only I didn't expect the stuffing to be sand.
What?
Yes. That wasn't a body, that was a dummy stuffed with sand, a dummy with a wax face.
Johnny!
Which brings up an interesting question. Who's supposed to be in that box, and, just where is the dead man spending his time? Sometimes in my business, when things drop off, you have to go out and, dig up new clients. My next case was a gentleman named Harlan Ward Sr., a wealthy automobile manufacturer. I'd gotten his name off his son's tombstone.
Are you trying to tell me, Doherty, that my son Harlan was never buried at Gowanna Cemetery?
Exactly, Mr. Ward.
But why?
Maybe if you'll tell me the circumstances surrounding your son's death, I can help answer that.
My son was a rather impetuous young man. Tall, good-looking. After his graduation from Princeton, he began drinking quite heavily. After he got into a couple of scrapes, we sent him to Doctor Grimshaw's Sanitorium in the hopes that he could be cured. While my wife and I were in Europe, we received word that he died, buried at Gowanna in our absence. Last week, my wife and I decided to have his body removed to the family vault here at Short Hills.
How'd your son die?
Suicide.
You never saw the body?
No, we couldn't get back from Europe in time. Now you tell me that his coffin contains a dummy. How do I know this whole thing isn't a plan to fleece me?
You don't. But you're a rich man, Mr. Ward, and you're perfectly willing to take a chance that I'm on the level and that your son may still be alive.
You sound very sure of yourself, Mr. Doherty.
My fee is a $2,000 retainer plus expenses.
What sort of expenses?
However much it costs to take the cure at Dr. Grimshaw's Sanitorium. Dr. Grimshaw's Sanitorium was just outside Gowanna. Most of the cases were nervous breakdowns and alcoholics. I committed myself as a dipso, and just to make it convincing, I stopped at 5 or 6 bars on the way over. I was interviewed by Grimshaw himself, a small man with a fringe of white hair.
You understand, Mr. Doherty.
That's not my real name, of course, social reasons.
We understand. Our paid clientele is very select, and our rates are very high.
You will be paid in cash and in advance, Dr. Grimshaw. How long does a cure usually take?
That, of course, depends on the degree of alcoholism. This is my assistant, Dr. Boyner.
How do you do?
How do you do? We are accepting Mr. Doherty as a patient. Better place him in the ward with Mr. K and Mr. Keiki. Mr. K is a long-term patient, Mr. Doherty, a highly intelligent man, formerly a professor of plant pathology. Mr. Keiki suffers mild delusions. I think you'll find him rather amusing.
After about 3 days, my roommates Arthur Kay and Crakey got used to me. And we even began to play three-handed bridge. Kay was a chronic dope addict, an intelligent, sensitive man. Crakey was nothing but a clown. He kept a big black cat named the Professor, which he talked to as if it were human.
And so I said to her, "My dear Countess, if you don't like the company of my cat, then you don't like me." She looked at me as if I were insane. But, of course, the joke was on her because I was. Professor? The professor is very sociable. Excellent company.
Except when he kills birds and deposits them in your bed. He's nothing but a feline murderer as far as I'm concerned.
See? You have insulted him, Mr. K.
Come here, Professor. Let's make friends. How about giving me your paw? Oh! Scratched me, you black devil.
You insulted him. You hurt his feelings.
Well, just keep him away from me.
It will be a pleasure. I would advise you not to insult him again. Good afternoon and evening.
Is he always as nuts as that?
Ever since I've been here.
What's his problem?
Manic depressive. And a little paranoid, too.
How long have you been here, Arthur?
At Grimshaw's 2 years. I left for a while, but I couldn't stay away from the junk, so I committed myself again.
Did you, happen to know a patient here named Harlan Ward?
Why do you ask that? Did you know him?
I met him socially a few times. I understand he died here.
So the newspapers said. I wouldn't know.
Suicide, wasn't it?
Was it?
You're being pretty careful, aren't you?
Mr. Doherty, what would you say if I were to tell you that I don't believe Harlan Ward is dead?
What makes you so certain?
He used to share this room with us. He slept in the same bed you now use.
I see.
He was an alcoholic, doing quite well, too, from what I could observe. We all expected him to go home soon. Then one evening he had a violent fight with Crakey. Crakey accused him of snooping or something. Later that night, Grimshaw and Voyner took him out.
Where?
Where they take all the special treatment cases to the charity clinic. It's that small building on the other side of the stone wall. A few days later, we read about his death. Suicide, they said.
Just what makes you think he's still alive, Arthur?
This? About a month ago, I was in the garden next to the wall that separates us from the charity clinic. Suddenly, I thought I heard a sound, like a child whimpering. It stopped. And a moment later, this note came over the wall, wrapped around a stone.
What's it say?
Help me, for God's sake, Harlan Ward.
Arthur, how would you like to have some fun?
Like what?
Like sneaking out tonight and going over the wall to the charity ward? What do you say? It would break the monotony a little.
I suppose there's no real harm in it.
Of course not. I'd go alone, but I'll need help scaling the wall. Will you do it?
All right. I'll go with you.
Up. All clear. Give me your hand and I'll lift you. Be careful when you drop. Ready?
Go ahead. There's a charity building over there, the one with the lights in the basement window.
Come on. Let's crawl over. Maybe we can see something. Shh, shh. Listen. Can you make out what he's saying?
No, I can barely hear. Good Lord.
What was that?
Probably some patient having the DTs.
Let's have a look. Easy, it wouldn't do to get caught now.
See anything?
Some sort of laboratory. I can see Grimshaw and Voyne and something else. What? There's a child with its back toward me.
Now take it quietly. It will be easier.
Please, no.
It will all be over soon. You won't remember anything.
No, I don't want to go.
Why not give it to him?
No.
Shut him up, why not?
Good Lord. What was it? What did he do to that child?
Arthur, that wasn't a child. It was a midget. The smallest midget I've ever seen.
What were they doing?
Trying to give it some sort of injection. When it resisted, Voyne knocked it out.
What do you suppose they were doing to it?
I don't know, Arthur. All I know is that when it fell, it had the face of Harlan Ward. All the way back to our room, my brain was working like some frantic pinball machine. Only the score somehow wouldn't add up. The pieces were there, all right. A crazy old doctor, a brutal assistant, a private sanitarium, and a midget with a dead man's face. I thought that when I got back to our room, I'd have some time to think about it. I'd forgotten about our friend, the happiness boy, Count Crakey.
So, I caught you.
Fine, you've caught us. Now how about crawling back into the woodwork like a good little count?
Where were you?
Mink hunting. Arthur and I like to go mink hunting at night.
You make fun of Count Crakey? I shall report you to Dr. Voyner.
You'd better not if you know it's good for you.
So, you threaten me? Me, Count Crakey? I shall scream for help. Help! Help!
Did you hurt him?
Just knocked him out.
What do we do now?
Put him to bed. Hope that when he wakes up in the morning, he's forgotten the whole thing.
And if he hasn't?
He's too crazy for them to take seriously anyway. Come on, let's get him back into bed. I went to sleep in my own room. And the next thing I felt was the sharp jab of the hypodermic needle in my left arm. Hold it.
It'll be useless to struggle, Mr. Doherty. In a moment, your motor nerves will be completely paralyzed.
What's this about, Grimshaw?
I might ask the same of you. My good friend Count Craigie informs me you and Mr. Kay decided to do some snooping earlier tonight. He followed you and saw you climb the wall.
Craigie's insane.
Mr. Doherty, that is a matter of opinion.
Craigie, what is this?
Perhaps my assistant, Dr. Grimshaw, would be good enough to explain.
Assistant?
Yes. You see, I am the actual head of the Grimshaw Sanitorium.
Count Craigie feigns many delusions, Mr. Doherty. But in this case, he is telling the truth. Count Craigie is actually Professor Ernst Hassler. Professor Hassler and I worked together in the Berlin Neurological Institute before and during the last war.
Unfortunately, my political affiliations with the Third Reich were under investigation by the War Crimes Commission. However, Dr. Grimshaw managed to smuggle me into this country, where I masqueraded as a mental patient, in order that we might continue certain experiments which were interrupted by the American Army.
I can imagine the sort of experiments you conducted.
You and your friend Mr. Kay will discover their exact nature very shortly, Mr. Doherty. It is a magnificent opportunity to serve science.
I passed out. And the next thing I knew, I was coming to in a different room and hearing the voices of Voyna, Grimshaw, and Craigie, as if from a great distance.
Pituitrin.
Pituitary.
4 cc's.
4 cc's.
How are the measurements?
Reducing rapidly.
We'll operate at once. Have Voyna start the anesthesia.
Very well, Doctor. Come in.
When I came to again, I had a blinding headache. I began to wonder if Craigie and Grimshaw weren't doing something to drive me insane, because I lost all sense of perspective. The room seemed to grow in size. I don't know how much time passed, but one day Craigie came into the room with a bundle in his arms about the size of a newborn baby. The bundle was my friend, Arthur Kay. And worse yet, I was exactly the same size that he was.
Let me out of here. Let me out.
Allow me to congratulate you, gentlemen. How are you feeling?
You dirty monster.
I'm disappointed, gentlemen. Do you not feel privileged to be a part of an experiment that will place me at the very top rank of the world's endocrinologists?
What are you doing to us, you madman?
It has long been established, gentlemen, that dwarfism and giantism result from injury to or malfunction of the pituitary and thyroid glands. The interlock between these glands was thought to be a hormone. I have discovered that this was incorrect. It was an enzyme. An enzyme I isolated some years ago. I was well on the way to synthesis in Germany when the surrender interrupted me. The interruption also limited the number and type of subjects on whom I could experiment. I was forced to find others.
Such as Harlan Ward?
Mr. Ward was only a control experiment.
I suppose you plan the same for us.
No, gentlemen. For you, I have reserved a special privilege. You, gentlemen, will be the first to test the full effects of the enzyme. In short, I intend that you, Mr. Kay, and you, Mr. Doherty, when the experiment is completed, will emerge as perfectly healthy, normal individuals. Except, of course, that you will be only 5 inches tall.
The days and nights that followed were a living nightmare. A nightmare from which Arthur and I awoke for brief periods to find ourselves in a strange new world. A huge, frightening world where everything seemed enlarged 100 times. When we finally emerged, we found ourselves imprisoned in a tiny mouse cage. Judging by the relative size of things, we could not have been more than 5 inches tall. Now we realized the experiment was at an end. That from now on, it was either escape or be destroyed.
How's it coming, Arthur? Another moment. I think I'll have this lock worked loose. And if we escape, then what? We'll worry about that after we get out of this mouse cage. Suppose we don't make it. At least you've written the story on that scrap of paper. Someone may find it and read it. Nobody will believe it. Then why did you bother to write it? I don't know. I suppose I want the world to know what happened to me. That does it. Help me push the door open. Now what? The first job is getting down to the floor. I think we can make it by sliding down the telephone cord. Are you game? Go ahead. I'm right behind you. Easy now. Look out. That does it. Now, if we can figure out a way to get out of the room, that should be... Uh-oh. Listen. Somebody's coming. It must be Crakey. We've got to hide. Here. The grate in the fireplace. He'll kill us if he finds us. Stay quiet.
Well, my friends, time for feeding. I trust that you... So, you have managed to break out. It won't do, you know. There is no way you could have gotten out of the room with the door and window locked. I know you are in here. I would advise you to save yourselves trouble and give up. Very well, my tiny friends. If you prefer to play the game of cat and mouse, then I shall be happy to furnish the cat. There is no way you can get out.
What now? He's gone for the cat. If that monster ever gets in here, we're goners. There must be... Wait a minute. What? You see that thin strand of wire running along the molding? What about it? It's the automatic fire alarm. When the alarm is tripped by a fire or short circuit, all the locks are sprung so that the patients can escape from their rooms. If I can short that wire before Crakey lets the cat into the building, let's go. There's a tiny sliver of steel from the cage on the floor. I'll work with that. You keep an ear to the door. Go ahead. This insulation is tough as rawhide. This stuff. Hurry up, Arthur, for God's sake. There it is. Stand away. I'm going to short it. Ready? Okay. We made it. There goes the door. Let's make a run for it down the hall. If we can get to the garden, we've got a chance. I smell smoke. The short may have actually started the fire. Come on. Wait a minute. I have to go back. The manuscript. Don't be a fool. There's no time. Come on. You go ahead. I'll catch up. Hurry up. I'll wait in the hall. Only a second. I've got it. Come on. There's nothing to stop us now. Arthur? Where are you? It's funny. Arthur? Arthur? Arthur, what's happened to you?
This is the record found in a fountain pen cover in the burned-out hallway of Dr. Grimshaw's Sanitorium. There's nothing to add, except that the fire which destroyed the sanitarium and killed so many of its occupants, including Dr. Grimshaw and Dr. Voyna, was definitely of incendiary nature. It is believed by the fire chief that some small creature, possibly a mouse, chewed the insulation off the wire and short-circuited the system. The two patients, John Doherty and Arthur Kay, vanished completely after the fire, and their remains were never found. Whether the manuscript which you have just heard is authentic, or whether it was the work of one of the more demented inmates of the sanitarium, we leave to your judgment.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Fred Way and is an NBC Radio Network production.
Greg, we've just listened to Dr. Grimshaw's Sanitorium. Now, first of all, I want to talk to you about Sanitorium, banana, pajamas.
Tomato. Now, I did look it up. So apparently the US spelling is Sanitorium and the UK spelling is Sanatorium, and they are very similar types of things. Both of them have a health connection.
And of course, the Fletcher Pratt, who wrote this in 1934, he wrote the title as Sanatorium.
Using the British spelling.
Yes, and pronunciation. Let's face it, they do sound different too.
Oh, they do indeed.
All right, well, let's get back to this fabulous radio drama. This is a 1955 broadcast based on the story by Fletcher Pratt, almost 20 years earlier. and a bit of a very intriguing setup. You know, we have these movies like the Blair Witch Project, which are found footage films, and this is a found manuscript. And you remember we had the Ghost Story, another radio drama, that was a found recording. What did you think about that format?
First of all, Mary, I've got to congratulate you. You chose this particular play for us all to listen to. And in terms of genres, it's got it all. It's got horror, sci-fi, and my favorite thing, a noir private detective, you know, searching for a missing person. Plus, there's mad Nazi scientists. They're all in there.
It's true. You know, when you think about the Shiver Show Venn diagram of crime, horror, and science fiction, and sometimes we have this thing called suspense, which is somewhat nebulous, but it was in all of those circles.
So, and full credit, therefore, to the person who adapted this, the scriptwriter George Lefferts from Fletcher Pratt's story. Got to say that I didn't read the first short story, Mr. Pratt's 1934 outing, but back in 34, which was only 1 year after the Nazis came to power in Germany with Hitler as chancellor, I'm not certain that trope, as we can put it like that, of mad Nazi scientists was a thing at the time. You know, there later on we've got The Boys from Brazil, that terrific movie, but I can't imagine in Fletcher Pratt's story they were Nazi scientists.
Yeah. And I have to confess I didn't get a chance to read that. I often try to read them before we go to air, but I didn't get a chance to read it. So that'll be our homework.
Getting back to the script there, I did like that edge of seat start, as they say in the movies, where the private detective's car collides with a hearse, which is carrying a dummy with a wax mask of a missing man.
Yeah, we're immediately intrigued, aren't we? From the Gowanda funeral service.
There's a slightly dated terminology. I believe that we would call the person involved a small person now. But back then, the script reads, the pieces were all there. A crazy old doctor, a brutal assistant, a private sanitarium, and a midget with a dead man's face. And that last section there has got that noir touch.
And here we have our John Doherty. John Doherty needs to get to the bottom of this. Mm-hmm. And he decides to commit himself to the sanitarium, which I think was a very bold move and not one I would have taken.
Somewhere to be viewed from a long distance, I'd say.
Yeah, send in the health department first.
But a great cast, I've got to say. They flung themselves into these roles.
There were a lot of roles. I thought it was, to be honest, film, theater, stage, or radio. You can overfill the stage or the space with characters, and I thought there were perhaps a few too many. I don't know how you felt, Greg.
When I was listing them, I was moving them around because they were starting to blend together, and particularly with that quite a nice twist where one of the patients, Count Crakey, is that how you pronounce his name? It turns out to actually be Professor Hassler, who's a mad scientist. But that was a nice touch.
So yes, that was wonderful. From a sound point of view, the sound was reasonable in this. The cat. We know Professor the Cat was a person.
Well, indeed, the actor Frank Milano. You don't have to remember that many lines. Meow. Meow.
So, how did you go in terms of finding out who these actors were?
Delighted you mentioned that. So, Arthur Maitland is Johnny Doherty, the private eye, or John Doherty. Peter Capell, who we've heard before, he was German-born. He was Count Crakey. He was the one who turned out to be Professor Hassler. Bill Lipton is Arthur, or was Arthur Kay, or Arthur Key. He was the drug addict and another professor, just to confuse you. Like, there's about 4 professors, including the flipping cat is a professor, right? So, and dear old Frank Milano as the cat.
The cat professor, the only professor that really matters, because This was quite an interesting complication. So the whole notion of creating these midgets, I mean, when I was listening to this the first time, I went, what is going on? Were you surprised by the turn of events at the sanitarium?
Shocked. Shocked. Because I thought, like most of, when we've had this type, if I can put it like that, this type of play before, they, the plays are exciting, but they're relatively predictable in plot. This was just bizarre when first of all, the characters shrink to the size of babies. But it did remind me, there's back 1865, Lewis Carroll. Now, there was a scribbler for you. He scratched out Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. We got shrinking to size. Then there was the 1966 movie, Fantastic Voyage, about scientists being miniaturized and injected into a human body. And there was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, that movie. That was good fun.
Absolutely. So here we've got Honey, I Shrunk the Patients.
That's right.
So they're 5 inches tall. Well, they sounded like they'd inhaled helium.
Perfect. Exactly what I said, sucking on a helium balloon. But that it was quite cute. It was a bit hard to follow, combined cute and silly and slightly weird.
Honey, we shrunk the patients, and then the cat ate them.
Well, but not before the private eye chewed through the electrical wiring and burnt down the sanitarium. And presumably took out the cat as well.
Wasn't quite sure what happened at the end there, but I think that's a good interpretation.
I mean, it wouldn't be my first choice of breakfast, but chewing through electrical wiring, I don't know.
They were desperate. Things were going sideways fast. Well, Greg, so Screamometer reading, how'd you go with this?
So I've got sound effects and music, well, in this case, sound effects, 3.5 out of 5. The story, for the sheer originality, 4 out of 5. And the acting, and they gave it a good crack there. I would say 4 out of 5, which with my maths is 11.5 divided by 3 equals 3.8.
I agree with you entirely on that rating. Greg, any parting thoughts on Dr. Grimshaw's Sanitorium?
Mary, when I hear the word sanitarium or sanatorium, I think of a health spa where there's earnest staff members in neat uniforms trying to convince clients that diet, exercise, and a positive attitude to life are fundamental for good health. But I think I prefer Dr. Grimshaw's Sanitarium. At least when you shrink in size, you can do it without having to diet.
But keep away from the cats.
Oh, yes. Meow. Psst. Meow.
Good night, Greg.
Good night, Mary.
That's our show for tonight. You can find The Shiver Show and Time Warp Studios on our website, which is timewarpstudios.com.